The first thing I want to talk about is Anthony Joshua's jab to the body. The jab to the body, or the jab in general, is widely known as the most important punch in boxing. When the jab is directed down to the body, it naturally acts as a counter to your opponent's jab, since your head naturally slips down and to the outside when performing this technique. Joshua constantly used the jab to the body to prevent Povetkin from waltzing directly into his space, and also, more importantly, to take the wind out of him early in the fight. Here's the best example of Anthony Joshua's jab to the body during the fight. Now pay attention to not only how he executes the technique, but also how he sets it up. Joshua is using the forward-leaning position to bait a punch from Povetkin. Now I've talked about the forward-leaning position in my Crawford versus Horn breakdown, and basically it's used to bait a punch from your opponent so that you could pull back from the punch by transitioning your weight from your front foot to your back foot and coming back with a counter as your opponent is left overextended. However, in this case, Povetkin clearly recognized what Joshua is trying to do, so you notice that he relaxes for a second, not taking the bait from Joshua. And so the second Joshua sees Povetkin not take the bait and relax, he takes the opportunity to shoot a jab to the body and suck the wind out of him. Also take note of his technique here. Notice how Joshua maintains eye contact with Povetkin all the way until the body shot lands. This deceives Povetkin into thinking the punch is coming to the head. Also notice how there's absolutely no telegraph from Joshua here. He simply extends his lead hand from his hip straight through the target and back to his hip. You could tell a body shot is effective if you hear a dull thud from the impact, because it means that they didn't brace for the punch, and as we all know, the punch you don't see is the one that hurts you the most. Since Anthony Joshua has a clear height and reach advantage over Povetkin, it was pretty obvious early on that Povetkin wanted to cut the distance by slipping on the inside of Joshua's jab and countering with the right hand. He would even do this if the jab never came, because his inside slip also acts as a feint. Now, a lot of people might say, well, why is he trying to slip the jab to the inside? Aren't you supposed to slip the jab to the outside? Well, the thing is, yes, it's always safer to slip to the outside of a punch, but just like everything in boxing, slipping to the inside does have its uses. By slipping to the inside, it opens up an angle for his right hand to sail right over or under his opponent's jab. You can even stand up and try this yourself. When you slip your head to the inside, notice your rear shoulder naturally just comes forward, which is also closer to your opponent, so you're able to throw your right hand much easier if you slip to the inside. So you notice here how Povetkin leads with a slip to the inside even though Joshua didn't throw a jab. It allows him to throw that right hand right over the top. And here once again Povetkin sees Joshua throw the jab, so he's going to slip to the inside and counter with his right hand. Jab, slip to the inside, throw the right hand to the body. Here he's going to slip to the inside and then throw the right hand over the top. Once again, slips far enough to the inside that he slips the right hand to the outside and comes back with the right hand. Slips the jab to the inside, no right hand, but here he's going to slip to the inside without the jab and throw the right hand over the top and follow up with a left hook. So you're going to see him slip this jab to the inside and then throw the right hand over the top. It's more like a left hook from Joshua. Here's going to slip to the inside and then throw the right hand over the top and the guard splitting left uppercut. Slips this jab to the inside and throws the right hand over the top. You see he keeps doing this to cut the distance, and Joshua has to hold on. I mentioned how the inside slip from Povetkin also doubles as a feint. After continuously throwing the right hand after he slips to the inside, watch how Joshua reacts to Povetkin's slip. Joshua expects the right hand from Povetkin and raises his left hand to block the right hand he thinks is coming, but Povetkin smartly notices this and feints the right hand into a left hook between the guard, a right uppercut between the guard, and another left hook. Each one of those punches smartly thrown between Anthony Joshua's guard, since Joshua was prepared to defend against a looping right hand. Next, I want to talk about Anthony Joshua's use of control during the fight. Whenever Joshua would miss a punch, or if Povetkin got too close to him, he would use clever, borderline illegal tactics to control Povetkin. You must utilize some form of control in boxing, because allowing your opponents to capitalize on your mistakes is simply unacceptable. Watch here as Povetkin cuts the distance on Joshua, and Joshua responds by grabbing a hold of the back of Povetkin's head with his left glove, which is kind of illegal, and he controls him by pulling him closer to his right hand so that he could land this right uppercut. And notice how he holds Povetkin in place so he could land this uppercut. This is practically an illegal move, but he gets away with it. Once again, Povetkin's going to cut the distance on Joshua, and Joshua's going to use his left hand to move Povetkin out of the way so he can angle off to the side. And here, Joshua's going to throw a 1-2, which misses, and instead of retracting his hand, he uses both his right hand and his left hand to control Povetkin and push off so that Povetkin cannot counter him. So here we see Anthony Joshua miss a jab, and instead of retracting his arm and getting chin checked, countered by Povetkin, instead is going to keep it extended and control Povetkin's head by pulling him over to his right as Joshua angles out to the left. By angling out to the left and pulling Povetkin to the right, he creates the distance needed to get away from danger without backing straight up. So that way he gets back to the center of the ring without cornering himself. And this was the combination that ended the fight. Joshua threw a jab to the body at the same time that Povetkin threw his jab. And by doing that, by countering Povetkin's jab, that allowed him to come over the top with the right hand afterwards. Because by throwing to the body, naturally your brain makes you want to cover up to your body, leaving your head open. So by throwing the jab to the body, it makes Povetkin drop his guard, and he throws the right hand over the top. That hurts him, and basically is the beginning of the end for Povetkin. Now you may remember that this is the same exact combination that Shane Mosley hurt Floyd Mayweather with in their match. Now if you want to avoid this combination, what you must do is step back the moment you see the jab, because you see the jab is used to set up the more powerful punches. So if you step back to avoid the jab, you avoid the danger that comes after it. As always, if you like my content and want to see more, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Thank you all for watching.
Now when she burning, I'ma chill for a minute, cause ain't no loving good enough to get burned while I'm up in it. Yeah. And that's real up and real deal, Holyfield. And now you hookers and hoes know how I feel. Well, if it's good enough to give up a proper chunk, I take a small piece of some of that funky stuff. It's like this and like that and like this, and it's like that and like this and like